Since their debut in 2018 with A Laughing Death in Meat Space, Tropical Fuckstorm has quickly made a name for themselves, which is aided by the fact that half of the band are formerly members of the Drones, who were also a very well-known Australian band. They excel in their ability to concoct They excel in their ability to concoct rough and rigid interpretations of art punk, experimental rock, psychedelic rock, blues rock, and whatnot. With 2 great albums under their belt in such a short amount of time, I had no reason to doubt that they would knock this one out of the park as well, and they ended up doing it. It opens with the greatest story ever told, which self-describes the scummy character who is drunkenly singing with sporadic outbursts and loudening sound. It definitely comes off as a rough, carefree karaoke session sonically, which I really like. The following G.A.F.F, which stands for Give a Fuck Fatigue, comes off as a dark comedy track that is guaranteed to pull you down into the gutter, with the lengths it goes to describe how tired people are of caring of the world's never-ending problems like war, famine, politics, death, and the methods they employ to try and forget about those issues for just a little bit. Also ponders the question just how much impact one grain in the sand really has. The jagged bass lines and frantic rhythm shifts are curated to the vocals very nicely, not to mention the random Street Fighter samples that are thrown in there to kind of like invoke a laugh here or there. Blue Beam Baby is a track mocking the absurdist conspiracy that NASA is organizing the second coming of Jesus in order to establish a new world order. It is sung from the perspective of someone who believes their child is Jesus, and it is aided by how convincing Garrett's performance is here, especially on the chorus. Suburba Phobia is sung by Fiona or Erica, I'm not entirely sure who it is, so my apologies for that. Lyrically, it is a song about somebody finding the positives towards being in a suicide cult, and the song is trying to make its case for people to join by saying stuff like, are you still living in your mom's basement? Are you thinking about Teal Swan? Have you heard of Heaven's Gate? Almost like a crazed recruitment effort. I really dig the dreary melody amidst the overbearing fuzziness of the instrumentation as well. Then the song talks about life inside, I think alluding to COVID and the effect quarantine had on people. What starts off in the realm of the mundane as Garrett states what doctors are saying about going out and how it was supposed to be a banger of a summer, evolves into Gareth overly submerging himself into TV. And the track takes a surreal detour with reverb and relayed vocals into the TV as the commercials are propagating coming to space to drink at the best cantina in the galaxy, using a ton of sci-fi jargon to really sell that. The Donkey is a 7-minute track that trudges through the burdens and observations of a donkey who is exhausted yet continues to labor itself, because that is just what a donkey does. The sultry beginning builds and builds into an amorphous storm of fuzzied guitars and basically whatever else they could fit in there too. Reporting of a failed campaign is easily the most in-depth song here in terms of writing, telling of a heartless media figure uncovering this huge fraud that spanned over 40 years. There is a lot to unpack from this track, so much so that I would need like a good 4 or 5 minutes to go over everything, but long story short, it is very interestingly structured and leaves a good amount of breadcrumbs for listeners to come to their own conclusions. New Romeo Agent is this abstractly told love story that ends in tragic death. It took me a couple of listens to understand what story it was trying to tell, but I'm pretty sure this is a tale of extraterrestrial love. I really liked how the relatively chiller instrumental allows for the romantic subtext and persevering vocals to unfold. And the penultimate Legal Ghost is a chillingly distraught track, which equates the idea of somebody being dead inside as a legal ghost, meaning you're alive, but you're not really alive. Things you don't get to enjoy anymore after you die, you're not enjoying in life either. And the vocals are heartbreaking to listen to, with the mantra being you're just a legal ghost being repeated over and over again as a method of rationalization of some sort. Honestly, I think this would have been a great closer to the album, because I think the actual closer, which is an instrumental track, wasn't needed. It is very spacious, so in terms of sound, I like that about it, but following up Legal Ghost being only 2 minutes long with very little to build or contribute to the album as a whole rings of just like dead air to me. But overall, I loved this album. There were a ton of rich, varied topics that were thoroughly and cleverly written. The vocal performances across the board were fantastic, and the rigid, rough, and robust production was able to capture the essences of chaos and touching moments alike. I am super amped for what they do next, and I definitely highly recommend this one. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know down below, and I will see you in the next video. I'd give it a